Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast, the English for Success podcast. It's Friday. As you know, we're here every Friday at 12 p.m. GMT. So this time, if you're in a different country, you can check your clock right now and see what time is it now. And remember, put it in your calendar. I'm going to be here every Friday to help you. To help you do what? To help you speak English with confidence. We're here every Friday to share with you how we're helping people to have confident communication, confident conversations in English in less than 60 days, right? And maybe this is hard for you to believe. Maybe you've been trying to study English for many, many years. Well, what we're doing here in English for Success here in this community is changing your focus, right? Not focusing on studying English like it's a subject to pass a test, but we're changing the focus to realizing that English is a language, okay? And a language is used to connect with people, all right? So I'm going to be talking about that here today, how you can connect with people and how you can have conversations that you enjoy and you have confidence. And then what do you do with this skill? Then you can use it in many different ways. But one way that we're talking about here today is networking, right? Connecting with people, building your network. So if you're here with us, say hello, drop into the comments. We have, I see Patricia is here. If you want Facebook to, if you want me to show your comments here with your name, you have to go to StreamYard to give permission there. StreamYard, here it is, /Facebook. You can go there and then give permission, and then I can see your comments, see who is commenting with me. Okay, short podcast today. The goal is less than 20 minutes, so I'm going to get straight in, get started with all of you, and let's jump right in. So, English for Success podcast. Remember the date, remember the time. Okay, we have, why is my screen not working here? Technology. Should be, let me try this, try something else, 1 second. Let me restart this. This is one of the problems with going live, right? Let me restart this. Check. Can you see on the screen behind me? Still there. It's frozen. Yeah, let's try that again. And is it working? It's not working. What is this today? Okay, maybe we'll have to do it without the PowerPoint here today. All right, so I'm going to do it, set it up here on my screen so I can see. Maybe you guys can't see it, but I can see it. So this is our topic we started last week. We're talking about networking, and really what we're doing here is we're shifting the focus so you understand English is a language and you have to make it meaningful. Okay, this is important. So, how can you apply it in your life to keep it relevant to your goals? And for a lot of you, business is important, right? You're trying to grow your business or go global or have more international clients. So, networking, being able to start those conversations is a big part. All right. Maybe you don't feel confident when you're starting, or you don't feel confident enough to start a conversation in English. So basically, what we're talking about here is this kind of small talk, right? It's called small talk, but I don't like using this word. Have you ever heard of small talk, by the way? Do you know what small talk is? Let us know if you've heard of this before. I don't like using the word small talk because small talk is not something that's small. It's actually something that is extremely important, right? As we were talking about yesterday, it is the first impression. You know, when you start a conversation with someone, the first impression, their first idea of you is very important. So you want to start in the right way. Okay. And having that confidence to start conversations, I know it's a big issue. So that's what we're going to help you with here today. We started this topic last week and we called it the networking ninja. And if you may remember, there were three key areas to small talk, to having good conversations in English, basically. The first one is that will help you start conversations is to have a list of great topics, right? If you have a lot of topics, or even what we talk about is three main topics, the top three topics that you can use to start conversations, it helps you so much with your confidence. Okay, so you need great topics, you need conversation starters, and you need to be able to respond, right? How do you answer people? So let's look at review these areas in detail now. Okay, so great topics, first of all. We have discovered, or maybe you know in your own culture as well, there are three, right? There are many topics you can talk about, but there are three of the top uh, small talk topics that you can always talk about. They are work, free time, and family. Okay, very good topics that you can talk about. So if you always have that in your head, work, free time, and family, then you have ideas to start conversations about. All right. So then that's the topics, right? There are a list of topics. If you have any ideas, put them into the comments. Okay. What do you think are good topics for small talk? So when you have a topic, the second thing you need to be able to do is start a conversation. And you need to be careful here because starting the conversation, don't just talk about yourself. For example, work, right? One of our top topics is work. So you don't want to start a conversation, say, hi, my name's Shane Mackey, and I'm an English fluency coach, and then just finish, right? You want to ask questions. All right. So you should have a list of great questions to ask people about these topics. And when you're asking these questions, you want to be asking open questions, right? So some examples for work, for free time, and for family. First of all, for work, you could say something like, what do you enjoy most about your job? Okay, great conversation starter there. What do you enjoy most about your job? If you want to talk about free time, you could say, tell me about the last interesting book you read. Or if you want to ask about family, you can just say, tell me about your family. All right. Very open questions. And when you use tell me, you're giving them an opportunity to speak. You're not saying, are you married? Right? Which is very closed. They're just going to say yes or no. You say, tell me about your family. Okay. So now we've reviewed number one, have a list of great topics. Number two, conversation starters. Make sure they are good, open questions. And then finally, responses. And we call this ninja responses. We're doing this week in our coaching program, we're practicing these responses, and our students are getting quite good at this. This is a great way for you to be more fluent in English. And, often we see when people just start working with us in a conversation, there's a lot of hesitation. Uh, uh, and you don't know what to say next. So we have a system, three things you can do to respond. For example, if someone says to you, I love traveling, a lot of the time when I hear new students, they would say, oh, okay, right? So how can you give a more fluent response to any situation that someone says something to you? Well, there are three things you can do, right? First of all, you need to have a quick response ready. So that can be an echo word or an echo question, right? We spoke about this a little bit last week in the podcast. So if someone says, I love traveling, you can just repeat the most important word or the key word that they said. I love traveling. Traveling, right? And what that does is it gives your brain a second to think about what to say next. Okay? You don't have that awkward silence. So, first of all, respond with a quick response. The second thing then to do is to connect. All right? You can connect with them. So, you want to relate to them. If they say traveling, how do you feel about traveling? Do you like traveling as well? So, you could say something like, me too, or I love traveling, right? So, if someone says, I love traveling, number one, you can say traveling, me too. And then finally, number three is you want to ask. Okay, you want to ask a follow-up question. You could say something like, what's your favorite country? So let's put all that together now and see what it sounds like. Someone says to you, I love traveling. Traveling? Me too. What's your favorite country? All right, there are 1, 2, 3. You put it together and you come across as fluent. It helps you to, when you have systems like this or frameworks like this, it helps you with your fluency and your confidence. Okay, so remember those three parts. Quick response, you can use a keyword, just repeat a keyword they said, or you can use an echo question, do you? Then you want to relate. You want to share your feelings about what they said. Then a follow-up question. 1, 2, 3. Easy? Do you think you can do that? All right. Oh, hi. We have lots of people here. Lots of people I haven't seen in a while. Nui is here. Nice one. Hi, Nui. And Kasha and Bigay, Namfon, and Ayumi. Nice to see you all. Okay, great to see you watching. We don't have a screen. We don't have the slides here to show you. So I'm giving this to you. It's good practice for you to work on your listening skills and not depend on seeing the written word as well. So you have a list of topics, you have some great conversation starters, and then finally what you have is a great way to respond using the ninja responses. Okay, giving those three things. So this is kind of what we covered last week on the podcast, and we're going to add to that this week because we have a framework that we use with our students. By the way, if you want this framework, you can comment guide below. We have a framework that takes you step by step through a small talk conversation, and basically it gives you the confidence to start and continue with the conversations, right? So for our topic of business networking, what we do is we have our students we told you last week about the magic of 3, right? You want to do this, you want to get your practice 1, 2, 3 times. That's when you build confidence and you build fluency. Okay, nothing you do, you practice one time and you're an expert, right? So we found the magic number is 3. So for moving on to a business networking event, what we like to do is we have a role play, all right? A role play where you pretend you're at a business seminar, a business networking seminar, let's say in New York, and you have to start conversations with the people. And how we do that is we have different sections. As I said, it's in the guide. I plan to show you here today, but I can't because I can't share my screen, but I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, so the guide is, first of all, you have your topic ready, and then you have a greeting. Okay, you have to greet someone in some way, obviously. Then you have your conversation starters, right? A list of questions. And what we like to do here is we like to think about some fresh, unique conversation starters. So you don't always have to ask the same old questions like, what do you do for a living? Right? It's very important. But if you want to be more interesting in your conversations, you can ask something different, right? So let me give you some examples here. If you're talking to people about work, it's okay, even in a formal situation, to move away from work. So you could say, you could ask someone, what are your favorite activities outside of work? Right? Let's start connecting with people here. Okay. What are your favorite activities outside of work? If you want to talk again about hobbies or travel or something like that, what what could you say? What's your idea of a dream destination for a holiday? You could ask about, something unbelievable. What is the most unbelievable thing that has ever happened to you? Right? Really get them talking about something interesting. Can you see the difference here? Right? If you're speaking to someone and it's always the same questions about what we mentioned there, right? Work, free time, and family. And you're always speaking about the same topics. If you throw in interesting question like this from time to time, you're going to have a much more valuable connection with that person. Okay. Another example, what's something interesting that you've always wanted to try? Right? Again, great way to start an interesting conversation. Or another good one in a professional situation, what's the best advice you've ever been given? Right? You can see how these extra questions can start some interesting conversations. If you're just joining us here, you can get a list. All of this, we have a guide, this put together in a guide, everything I'm talking to you about here today. So you can comment guide below and we'll send you that guide. So back to the framework. What is the framework, right? You have your topic, you have your greetings, you have your interesting questions that you're going to ask. Then you want to be able to respond. Okay, responding. We talked about it earlier on about the ninja responses. Have a list of responses ready, okay, so you can quickly answer people while you think of those follow-up questions. Then you should practice follow-up questions as well. And one thing, this can be difficult for a lot of people. If someone says, I love traveling, what kind of a follow-up question can you ask? So an easy trick to do this is to just think of the question words. Where, when, why, who, how, right? So you could, where, right? Where's your favorite place to travel to, right? Just go through those WH words and you'll be able to think of a nice follow-up question to ask. Then you can also ask other people in the group. If you're speaking to more than one person, you can ask, and how about you? And how do you feel using their names, right? This is all in the framework. And then finally, we have closing the conversation. What do you say at the end? If you're at this networking event in New York, how do you finish that conversation? Right? So you should have a list of ways to finish. So you can say things like, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. It's been nice getting to know you. I hope to see you again sometime. Here's my business card, right? You should have a list of these common phrases ready. So you're equipped, you're ready. That's what helps you to feel confident to have these conversations. The key, as always, is guided practice. That's what we come down to. Okay, so we have a few things here. We have the framework, which can really help you. Always, when you have a framework in your head, it gives you that confidence, it gives you that fluency. Okay, so if you want that framework, comment, guide, and then you need to practice. Okay, this is the same way we develop any skill in our life. Okay, practice with feedback. You speak, right? You practice this networking. What we're doing in the program this week, we put people together for 5 minutes, and they go through a small talk, and then the clock runs down, and then we have feedback, and then they do it again. 3 times is that magic number. Okay, and that's how you improve your grammar, your vocabulary, your pronunciation, is when you get feedback on your speaking in a real context. Okay, and as I said, the number is 3. That's the magic number to get practice there. So if you would like to get this guide, as I said, you can comment guide below. It's all laid out for you there. And this is it. This is the main message here today, is to make your English practice meaningful. This is the problem with schools, right? We're just doing grammar exercise. It's not connected to the real world. So if you want to develop your conversation skills and your confidence, as I said at the start of this video, we see results in less than 60 days, right? People have been studying English for 10 years, 15 years. Once they come in and get the right practice, in 60 days, they have confidence. And that really is the most important thing, is to feel confident, right? It helps you to move forward. If you lack of confidence, it stops you, right? So to develop that confidence, you can have a framework, step-by-step system of a conversation, and experience, right? And as we see, the key is 3 times. So put it into context. If you want to practice your conversations, think about a networking event, and we have lots of different situations that we go through here. And I will be here every Friday to go through these different situations with you. If you want the guide, comment guide below. We didn't have our screen. You can see it here behind me, but it's frozen. But as I said, we can give you the guide for that. So networking, this is the networking ninja. Practice, right? Practice with those responses. Remember, what are the 3 things? If someone says, I love traveling, 1, 2, 3, quick response. Traveling? Relate. Me too. Follow-up question. Where's your favorite country? Get the practice you need, everybody. And I'll be back here next Friday at 12 p.m. GMT. Put it into your calendar. I'll see you all soon.